trigonometry. Okay, what should I know about trigo before I want to learn calculus of trigo? Okay, first of all, you have to know that in order for calculus in trigo to work, all angles must be measured in radian. So first thing, okay, all angles must be measured in radian. So any question on this? Angles must be measured in radian. Kevin, do you know what is radian?
No.
NO or KNOW?
Or NO.
So, student, that is the relationship between degree and radian. So if I say 90 degrees, can you tell me? Is equal to 1/2 pi radian. So I just need to know how to change from degree to radian. Radian to degree, not necessary. If you want, you can go and find out how to do it. If I have this relationship, I should be able to do it. Okay, what is important? 180 degrees is pi radian, 90 degrees is pi by 2 radian. So there are a few important angles you have to know it in radian. So 45 degree, pi by 4 radian. 30 degrees, pi by 6 radian. 60 degrees, pi by 3 radian. Radian, you can write short RAD. Okay, and 270 degrees, 3 pi by 2. 90 times 3, you get, yeah, radian. 360 degrees, 2 pi. So these are the first important thing about the angle that you have to know, all measured in radian. Okay, second thing. Second important thing about trigo is the, okay, who can tell me? What are the things that you learn about trigo? That is called trigo ratio. Okay, when you talk about trigo ratio, you are talking about a right-angled triangle. Am I right? Okay, this is the angle. We call it theta. Now we don't want to call it theta. We call it x because that is our variable. Yeah. So the one in front of the angle x is called the opposite. So the position of the angle is very important. Okay, the one at the side, the longest one is called the hypotenuse. Okay, so we use the alphabet H. The one that beside the angle is called the adjacent. Okay, we have three trigo ratio. Sin of an angle is the ratio between the opposite length of the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Am I right? So the value of a sin of an angle, because hypotenuse is the greatest, longest, so it will be always less than 1 or equal to 1. And for this case, your angle X, the highest is 90, pi by 2, the lowest is 0. So now I'm not going to use degree. All I'm going to use radian. You get me? Because we are going to work with radian. So sin of an angle is talking about the ratio of opposite against hypotenuse. The value will never be more than 1. Please write it down. It will be less than or equal to 1. That is true facts. Are you okay? And if the domain is between 0 and pi by 2, the lowest will be 0. Correct? So sin 0 radian is 0. That means how is the situation? It's a straight line, vertical straight line like that. So the angle is 0. So the opposite and the opposite is 0, hypotenuse is 1. Opposite is 0 over the hypotenuse. That's why sin 0 is 0. Hello? Sin 90. Sorry, sin 0 is the horizontal. Sin 0 is the horizontal. Sorry. I mean the angle, you start from here. The opposite is 0. So sin 0 is like that. It's a horizontal straight line like that. Sin 90 is a vertical straight line. So you see this line, you move. Are you clear? So this is the hypotenuse, the opposite and the hypotenuse are of the same length. So sin 90 is 1. So these are the two true facts about sin you have to know. That is the first trigo ratio. Are you okay? Second trigo ratio, that is cos of an angle, is the adjacent divided by the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is always the longest, so it also range between 1 and 0. Correct? And sin and cos is the opposite. So we know that cos 0 radian is equal to 1. Cos pi, you see, you didn't remind me though. What should I write here? Pi over 2. Please, if I go to degree, you send me out of the class, okay? Cos pi by 2 is equal to 0 because the adjacent is 0. Are you clear? Okay, tangent of an angle is the opposite divided by the adjacent. So the value can be infinity and 0. And tangent is sin of an angle over cos of an angle. So tangent 0 is 0 divided by 1 equal to 0. Tangent pi by 2, which is 90 degrees, is 1 divided by 0, because cos pi by 2 is 0. So this is undefined. So if I ask you to sketch the graph of tangent and cos, yep, tangent, it will have vertical asymptote. That is pi by 2. X equal to pi by 2. Are you okay? Got it? So these are some true facts about trigo ratio. And the domain is from 0 to pi by 2. How about if the angle is more than pi by 2? What should I do? What should I do? Class, this part of the thing is a must to memorize. You don't memorize, you don't tell me to do. We don't get into trigo. You will get very frustrated when you learn trigo. All this is memorizing work, no choice. But I got teach you some true fact, how to memorize. Okay, now, if the angle is more than pi by 2, you also learn this. How mathematicians define angle more than pi by 2? They draw a circle. What is the radius of this circle? 1 unit. So the radius is 1 unit. And when we talk about positive angle, okay, the x-axis must move turns what? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? Anti. So it turns anti-clockwise. So this is called your angle X. Are you clear? So you see, you get this point. The radius is 1. This point P is X over Y. So look, this is your X, this is your Y. Am I doing the right thing? No, you see, I upside down already. Okay, can I don't use the angle as X? Can I just use it as theta, because I don't want confused with the coordinate. So this angle is theta. Okay, so this is a Y coordinate, this is the X coordinate. So I know that from now on, I know that the X coordinate represent the value of the X coordinate of P represent what? Represents cos or sin of the angle. Cos of the angle. Represent the value. Understand? And the value of the Y coordinate will represent the sin of the value. Did your teacher tell you like that? Are you okay? So that's why you come up with, I don't want to draw it there, I draw it separately. If I turn the angle here, this is called the first quadrant, this is called the second quadrant. All right, this is the angle theta. Here, the angle is equal to 0. Here, the angle is equal to pi by 2. So this is your angle theta, you see? This is your point P. That's why the y coordinate is positive, the x coordinate is negative, correct? So, what does it show? That means if the angle is more than pi by 2, but less than pi, sin of that angle is greater than 0. But less than 1, correct? So that's why we say sin is positive. Am I right? So this is the first one. Cos of the angle. You see the x coordinate is negative, correct? So that's why cos is more than -1, but less than 0. That's why cos of the angle is negative. That is how it defined. You cannot change the definition. This mathematicians fix it. You don't ask me why, because they want trigo to run in that way. Unless you go and invent another trigo. Okay? So these are rules you have to follow. Okay or not? So that's why during your high school, you remember all science teacher are what? No, you don't remember. If the angle is in the third quadrant, what happened to the value of sin? Negative. What happened to the value of cos? Negative. What happened to the value of tangent? Positive. Or science teacher are, no. Why must you use crazy? All science teacher are, if all science teacher are crazy, all my students are crazy. You are taught by crazy people. All science teachers are clever. Correct? So that is how it goes. So from this principle, so I'm not going to go in depth of that. So from this principle, there are a few things that I have to remember. Okay, what are they? There are a few important points. 1, 0. At this point, the angle is 0. At this point, the coordinate is 0, 1. And the angle is pi by 2. At this point, the angle is 2 pi. And this point is -1, 0. And this one is 0, -1. And the angle is 3 pi by 2. All right? And you can go on 2 pi. Go one round, 2 pi. Plus another pi by 2, 5 pi by 2. Plus another pi, 2 pi, you can go 3 pi. plus another 2 pi, 7 pi by, hey, this is 3 pi by 2, okay? No, 5 pi by 2, I'm right. Plus another pi, 7 pi by 2. Then go 4 pi. Dia boleh pusing berapa banyak kali pun boleh. Okay? So, from here, I interpret. You see, I said that x coordinate represent the cos, correct? So you see, the highest value is 1. The lowest value is -1. So true facts about sin, cos. So cos of any angle. I purposely write down any angles. Highest, paling tinggi, 1. Paling rendah, -1. So this is the maximum and minimum. So when you talk about trigo maximum and minimum, tak perlu differentiate punya. Faham? Faham? How about sin? If you look at sin, you are talking about the y coordinate. Highest is 1. Lowest is -1. Right? So if I plot the graph of y equal to sin x, okay. So usually when we plot graph for cos or sin, when we use our graphic calculator, everyone take out your graphic calculator. Okay, I want you to put within the domain of 0 and 2 pi. And I want you to put your scale, your x scale as, when we do trigo, when we put our scale, so we will try to go by the 4 quadrant, pi by 2. You know how to put sin cos or not? You know, Okay. And please make sure your calculator is in radian, okay? Your mode. Can you please check your mode? Make sure it's in radian.
Teacher, how do you change the mode?
Go to the mode there and change how to change the mode. Kevin, go to mode there and change.
All right. I mean, at mode there, how do you?
You scroll down. There's one part degree and radian. Make sure you highlight the radian. Got that?
Oh, got already.
Okay. So you see, they will have this mark, this mark, this mark, and this mark, correct? Sin 0 is 0. Sin pi by 2 is 1. So usually when I sketch, this is 1. The lowest is -1. So my graph go like that. So this one, we call it the sinusoidal curve. So you see the maximum and the minimum. So when come to trigo, correct, especially sin and cos, you don't have to specially use differentiation to get the maximum and minimum. Later, I will teach you other things. So this is called. So if I want to sketch the graph of y equal to cos theta. Theta also between 0 and 2 pi. So this is called one cycle, one complete cycle. Yeah. So just give you some idea about trigo. So I know that highest is 1, lowest is -1. Cos 0 is 1. So I start with my, so they will have 4 marks there, same thing. All right. So it will go positive, negative, then go positive. Yeah. So here is your 2 pi. True facts about sin and cos. So this is a true fact, huh? You better memorize. Okay. Okay. So I will end the class here. There's one more thing. Special angle, the value. So can you go and find that out by yourself? Like sin 30 degrees is root half. Cos 30, what 30? Sin pi by 6. You don't correct me one. Very bad. Sin pi by 6 is half. Cos pi by 3 is root 3 over 2. How it come about? Please go back to your chapter 1. That particular table, you better write it down in your one-page handwritten notes. Do you get me? Okay, thank you, class.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
Teacher,
Yes,
the SAT, right?
SAT 4.
No, SAT 3.
Why?
The